Now, a man who's been left paralysed after an accident 23 years ago is fighting for doctors to be allowed to help him to die. Paul Lamb says he's in constant pain and that it's only going to get worse. Mr. Lamb has now won the right to take over the legal battle started by Tony Nicholson, who had locked-in syndrome after a stroke and who died last year. Mr. Lamb has been speaking to our health and social care correspondent, Victoria Macdonald.
Pain's taken over a lot, and I've been dosing myself up, and then that normally will knock me out. And so I find a lot of my days, I'll get out of that bed, I'll make a start on there, I'll fall asleep in the chair, and then wake up, and just be hurting that much. I want to get back in that bed.
Paul Lamb was paralysed following a car accident 23 years ago. He has to be cared for around the clock.
How's that?
Bit more.
His life barely lived beyond this room, and it is a life filled with constant pain.
After 23 years, and trying everything, there's nothing I ain't tried. Wore myself out, wore myself ragged. And it never gets better than level 2. Now then you take it a step further, and level 8 is when I have to be in that bed. I'm doubled up.
So next month, Mr. Lamb will become the latest person to challenge the right to die law. And last night, an anonymity order on him was lifted so he could speak out. He has in fact been given permission to take up where Tony Nicholson left off. And indeed, he was inspired by the sight of Mr. Nicholson weeping as he learned he had lost his court battle to have that help to die. Jane Nicholson, who is also carrying on her late husband's fight, welcomed Mr. Lamb's decision.
It's huge that he's taken over the case and also that he's agreed to go public. I couldn't carry on with the case, really. We needed someone in a position similar to Tony to carry on with it, and Paul has agreed to do so.
Over the years, we've seen a number of people come to these courts seeking protection for their loved ones or their doctors should they help them to die. But invariably the rulings have been the same. What the judges say is it's not a matter for the courts, it's a matter for Parliament to decide.
Mr. Lamb's lawyers will use the necessity argument, as they did with Tony Nicholson.
He's pursuing the argument that as someone who is totally disabled and can't terminate his own life, that he seeks a declaration that a doctor who helps him in those circumstances should not be liable to a charge of murder and should have a defence of necessity open to them on grounds that they are relieving his unbearable pain and suffering.
Mr. Lamb is clear that he does not want to die right now, but he does know that the time will come.
I'm settled to the fact that it's not going to get any better, but potentially can get a lot worse. And I don't know how much is in me to take worse, because it is bad. Yeah, at times, horrendously bad.
And because of that, he says it is worth this fight, in the hope that he will have the choice of when and where he dies.